For joining us today for this really important event on health equity and non-communicable diseases. And let me start by thanking WHO for co-organising this event with us as the third annual multi-stakeholder gathering. There have been two before, each around the UN General Assembly in the last 2 years. And as Jane started off by saying, I think we're all very familiar with the fact that inequities manifest in many different ways in non-communicable diseases. As Michael Marmot put it, where you live, your income level, the colour of your skin, your gender, your age, and if you're from a marginalised community, the social determinants and the causes of the causes affect the likelihood of developing a non-communicable disease, how you experience that NCD throughout your life course, as well as the actual likely outcome of that non-communicable disease. And we can look at it from many different perspectives. If you look at it from a health outcomes perspective in terms of the trends, as James was saying, in terms of premature mortality and mortality overall in non-communicable diseases, it is extremely divided and unequal globally as well as within countries. And if we look upstream to the risk factors, social inequalities and risk factors account for more than half of inequalities in the major non-communicable diseases. So people in lower incomes and low education are less likely to be physically active, less likely to eat healthily, and more likely to engage in heavy episodic drinking. And this is why the term lifestyle diseases is so utterly inappropriate in these contexts of poverty and vulnerability. Then when you look at the health systems, we're going to really hear from the panellists today around the significant inequities in access to treatment and care. As we heard this time last year by WHO on the data around universal health coverage, 4.5 billion people today are not fully covered by essential health services, and 2 billion people face severe hardship, financial hardship, due to out-of-pocket expenditure. And in this room, we know very clearly that a very significant proportion of those people are people living with NCDs. And for many today, it's still very much a postcode lottery of whether you can prioritise your healthcare for yourself or for your family, access healthcare, afford healthcare, as well as maintain and sustain healthcare throughout your whole life course. And I'd say that within the NCD response over the last 15 years or so, nationally and globally, in a way, the equity lens has been a bit of an afterthought rather than being something that is the starting point of our response.